everyone, and welcome to this week's DI How Do I webinar. My name is Shani. I'm the training evangelist for Dealer Inspire, and part of my job is to bring you all kinds of amazing information, stuff that you want, need to know, have to know, and also stuff that's just good to know. So, so we're going to be talking here with my guest today, but real quick, just want to just put out a little reminder there. We're going to be on mute for the most part. If you have any questions, you please send them to me via the chat functionality on GoToMeeting, or you can send me an email at dihowdoi@dealerinspire.com. There will be a survey sent out here pretty soon. So also make sure you fill those out because that's what we're using to kind of come up with topics and make sure we're bringing things that you guys want to hear and that you need to hear. So without much further ado, I'm going to get started. With me today is Ryan Kwasniewski. He is account manager extraordinaire with Launch Digital Marketing, and he is going to talk to us all about using comparison pages to your advantage. How they're extremely important in bringing traffic and search engine optimization and informing your customers of why they should choose you over them, and it can be used in a myriad of different ways, using personalizer, comparison, using conversations. You can bring them, use these model pages, these comparison pages in all kinds of ways for your website. So Ryan is going to tell us more about that. Welcome, Ryan.
Welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
No problem. So thank you for doing this webinar again. You're a fave, man. You're really good. So I enjoy my time with you. So let's talk about comparison pages and how we can, how dealerships can use them to their advantage.
Absolutely. So first thing foremost, a vehicle comparison page is like any other product page out there that you'd be comparing when you're shopping. I know, like myself, I happen to do a lot of comparison shopping when I'm searching for something to buy. We want to be able, on these pages, we want to be able to show your vehicle, why your vehicle is superior to your competition, and doing some comparing attributes of like benefits, costs, etc. Kind of something similar down here would be something what we would want to achieve would be Ford F-150 versus Ram 1500. And with these, there's a lot of research out there that really shows how much of a benefit these types of pages on your website would be very beneficial. So you can see here, for just search-wise, you can see the most common resource is looking at behind the dealer, the manufacturer sites, using search as well, and making sure that you have a lot of this information on your website, because with that statistic there, at 72% of vehicle searches are actively cross-shopping. So looking at your competitors, make, model, looking at your models, your makes. So we just want to make sure with these types of pages you achieve showing them that your product, your vehicle is superior.
You know what, Ryan, that makes a lot of sense, because I know even when I'm just buying something, on Amazon, something simple, even like a toy for my kid or something, I just don't look at the first thing that comes up and then immediately buy it. I'm always kind of checking reviews, checking prices in other places, checking why, the Play School is better than the Mattel. And that's just for, it's a $20 toy. So when you're searching for a car, I can imagine that you really want to make sure that you're getting exactly what you want and what you need. So comparing to like models is vital.
Absolutely. Like Shawnee said, when you're going after when you're showing this type of information, you're going to be showing this information for what will be the consumer's third, if not second, most expensive purchase during that time period for themselves. So they're going to be doing a lot of research. I know, like Shawnee said, myself, if I'm buying something for golf, like a golf glove, I'm going to spend at least 15 minutes reading some reviews and comparisons on different models, and that's only for something that's $14. So we want to make sure that we have some good information out there so we can convince them that our product is superior, our vehicle is superior, and this is the reasons why.
Okay.
Continuing through that, a lot of people, we obviously all know this. 95% of shoppers, almost probably even closer to 100%, are using digital channels to do their research. And what we found is there's actually 24 research touch points on average that people are doing, kind of what me and Shawnee kind of just referred to when doing their comparison shopping. So if we go to the next page, it kind of gives you more of a visual of what I'm kind of talking about. So auto shoppers are doing more and more research, and you can kind of see here all of the different touch points that they may have hit. You have like some search engines, you have watching videos, the OEM sites, third-party sites, social media, dealer sites, comparing models, etc. So these really gives you the full glimpse of what is going through a consumer's mind when they're looking to purchase a vehicle. And this shows the true importance of why we need to have a lot of information out there to lead them towards our types of vehicles. Keep going. This is just another graph I wanted to share as well. It kind of gives us a good idea of what is going on in the mind of the consumer as well, in more of a pie chart. And you can see 60% of shoppers out there are changing their mind. They're starting their mind on some vehicle or some model or make, and they're ending up, by the time they purchase, switching it, whether they're switching it from a new to a used, or maybe from a Honda to a Ford, etc. And then you have a lot of people out there that have no brand in mind. They're very open-minded. These people are the ones that are going to be up there to convince the most, because they're really open for it and they're really ready to kind of make their decision through the research that they're going to be doing. And then you have the people who are really brand loyal, and these ones are going to be a little bit harder to change, like you guys know, but to be able to provide that information so that way if they do happen to change, they'll know the benefits of your product versus the one that they're brand loyal to. Or we'll just back up, they're one that they're actually brand loyal over, and they say, wow, this is actually really awesome that my car is superior in these aspects over this vehicle. And my final kind of visualization to kind of really show the importance of how much search and research is done by a consumer. As you can see here, this is an actual dialogue of what it was searched for a particular user, and just all of the different searches on what that happened through, when they're trying to figure out what vehicle they want to purchase. And you can see 8 different brands were considered. This is just a nice, very brief overview of like an automotive shopper path to purchase is what it would be called. And you can see 6 different models, 8 different brands. It just shows the importance of having this type of information.
Right, and what I'm seeing here is, even though they're all different brands and models, they're still the same type of car. So this is like, they're all still, sedans basically, or this smaller compact cars. So they see they know what they want. They're just not sure which brand. So this is a really, good example of how, we could talk about how the Honda Civic, is superior to the, the Toyota Yaris or something like that. Not that they are, we're impartial here, but this is a good example of showing, having those those comparison pages so that people can get a bird's eye view and a quick glimpse of the differences and kind of pick one that works best for them.
Absolutely.
So I like this visual.
Absolutely.
And it's pretty.
Yeah, it certainly is. So just kind of some fundamentals of the comparison pages. I know a lot of people think it's just A versus B, but you got to make sure that, when you're doing A versus B, that if you're A, you got to make sure that you're showing that you're superior. So seeing and making sure that it's clear why your car is better, why your vehicle is better, and making sure that you're kind of going through a nice overview of the different things about your vehicle compared to your competitor, and then what is also similar. And then, real beneficial for the pages when building these, you want to make sure that you are linking back to previous pages written about the particular vehicle. And what I mean, this is kind of going back to last week with James' discussion on model pages. These are more pages that are discussing one particular model within your lineup. And then when you're actually comparing it, it is always fundamentally good to link back to that page so that way that customer or that searcher can find more information if they need to, if they feel they need to have more information. Um, Another great thing is to definitely have comparison pages, call to actions, and photos. Like everyone knows, we're all very visual, and especially on websites, we want to make sure that they look really nice and they're very easily absorbed through the high points, because a lot of people don't have a lot of time to spend on a website. People are on there for a few minutes, a few seconds. So if we can really give them the high points right away in a nice graph chart like I have displayed down here as an example, they're able to take that and go, okay, well, wow, these things that Honda Civic is over Toyota Camry, and wow, this is really quick, boom, and I'm out, and maybe I'm moving on through to the VRPs to start looking at some Civics.
Yeah, I know one of my favorite functions, when I'm doing shopping is the, compare button. So, that gives me the grid so I can see. Yeah, I'm thinking for phones mostly. I'm pretty, dedicated to my phone, but every once in a while there's that one out there that I really want. It may have more, maybe a little lighter, a little bigger screen, a little more, functionality, more memory. And I like to see those as kind of snapshots so I can really make an informed decision. So yeah, that seems to be something that would be really important, especially since we're all everything is in an instant. We don't have a lot of time. We need to see the quick points. We want the elevator pitch. We want to see to make our decision. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And Shawnee touches on it. Just keep it simple, keep it nice, keep it light, keep it simple. But have the facts in there so that way when a searcher or a customer does come to the page, they're able to clearly define which one is superior to the other. And then, with the call to actions on the page, they happen to find all that information on your website. There's a lot of information, a lot of third parties that actually don't have inventory on them. They're just kind of more information-based websites. But the unique advantage of having these comparison pages on your website, on a dealership website, is they have the ability to go in and start looking at the inventory without having to go back to Google or going back to another dealer's website. They already have the ease of being on that site, and they can just click through to a nice call to action, make it nice, big, bright, bold, to really draw the eye once they're ready to move forward.
Right, and keeps them on your page. Yeah.
Correct,
cool.
Absolutely. So all that's great. We kind of went through and really kind of determined what a comparison page is, the fundamentals around it. So now, how do we go from there? And how can we use the tools that we have at our fingertips through the Dealer Inspire dashboard and Dealer Inspire website platform? So you can see here, I have a little nice screenshot that is it's on the Insight tab right there. I provided this arrow to kind of show you where you would see that when you log in. Obviously, when you log in, you're going to be on the summary page. That gives you a nice little overview, but we're going to want to move for this topic. We're going to want to go into the Insight tab, and this Insight tab has some really important information, and it does show you a quick summary of the average days in market, top price for top vehicles. But what we're going to focus on is this graph down here below, and for that, you're able to see top makes and models. And this really gives you some nice insight, and no pun intended because we're on the Insight page. But what we can look at here is we can see, obviously, this is a Honda dealer. Honda is their number one make, and then next below that is Toyota. So you can see from there, you can see the top makes and models. Primarily, the top 5 is all Hondas. Oh, yep, you can see here, 1 through 5, you can see a Honda Accord, Civic, CR-V, Pilot, Odyssey. But that first one that is not a Honda is a Toyota Camry. So that right there, if I'm sitting trying to come up with what I want to compare it against, I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm going to do the Toyota Camry because a lot of my searchers are doing and finding Toyota Camrys and Toyota vehicles. So this would be a good one to start with. So going in, using the dashboard, being able to digest the information here, see what your top make and model is, and then going from there, all right, now we got to figure out what vehicle do we want to compare against the Toyota Camry. So when you're preparing that comparison page, you're going to want to come up with that vehicle, like I said. So we're going to go with the 2016 Toyota Camry. So in my mind, and I'm using Walla Walla Valley Honda as an example, um, they wanted to compare it against the 2015 Honda Civic. So we pulled a nice little Honda Civic there at the bottom. So we want to present the information on this page to show that the Honda Civic is the superior choice, like we stated before. And then here's a few things that we want to make sure we're covering where we feel as the dealership, and then maybe on some information that are out there on the web, that the Civic is superior to the Camry. You know, it might not be superior altogether, but there might be some few areas that we want to highlight so that way when the searcher does come in, they're able to quickly find that. So fuel economy, vehicle features, overall value. So those are the things that you would want to write upon, and then obviously show the differences and the similarities between those.
All right, I have a question for you, Ryan. So we have the basic fundamentals of a comparison page. Now, when we're looking at these different aspects, these different attributes to kind of compare, you mentioned benefits, costs, mileage. What? Let's say we have, I'm a truck dealership, so I have, I get a Ford dealership, and I have, these F-150s, and I want to, kind of compare to, a Dodge Ram. So those attributes, is it important to kind of change those up depending on the type of vehicle? Because I would assume that, maybe somebody who's looking for, high, a great mileage rate on a smaller car. With a truck, you're going to have some, you're not going to get a great mileage, but you want to know about torque or tow capacity. So does that kind of change, maybe, change like the priority of things that you want to list and that you want to point out?
Absolutely, yeah. And these are just for examples of what we will find out through the Civic, but you can really pick any topic that you feel that you want to present the information on that shows that your vehicle is superior in that aspect compared to the competitive vehicle. So like a F-150 versus a Ram 1500, you can kind of display the information on the torque, like you said, maybe the features that are inside, the new innovations that may have been in the F-150 versus the Ram, or vice versa. You can also then pull up the towing capacity, because a lot of times you got a truck, you're probably going to be towing some things. You're definitely going to be doing some moving for some of your friends, because I know when I had my truck, everybody was calling me to try to move stuff. So, that's the type of information that you're going to want to have on there, because you want to be, when you're picking the information and trying to figure out what you want to put on these comparison pages, sit there and think as yourself, as the consumer, what do you want to know about this vehicle versus a different vehicle that's very similar. So that's kind of the mindset you want to really be in when prepping for a comparison page.
Okay.
So now that you have all that, you got some great information. You're able to kind of pull that together. This is kind of what the final product, what on Walla Walla's Valley Honda page looks like. You can see there 2015 Honda Civic versus the 2016 Toyota Camry. It's very clear, very simple. You know when you land on this page right away, you know what the subject is going to be about. You want to make sure, like we said, keep it simple. I'm going to pop up here the page itself live, and we're going to actually look at it really quickly. You can kind of see here as we see this comparison page, clear call to actions, clear subject, going through, hitting the high points that we wanted to touch on, like we talked about, Shawnee. Fuel economy, features, laid out very nicely with the pictures, overall value, showing it. Obviously, this is a Honda website, so we're going to be leaning more towards the Honda vehicle versus the Toyota vehicle. So you show the difference here in overall the price. You can show that. That's really important to consumers, because obviously they want to get more bang for the buck, and if they can get more features, more benefits from one car and pay less, then obviously that's something that's going to be very important to them. Having a clear call to action at the end, schedule a test drive, make sure that you can get them in there, get them to move throughout the website, and then, like we talked about, a nice area to display these quick high points that somebody can come to, quickly go to, and see, okay, bingo, these are the things that are making the Civic, in the eyes of the research we provided, more superior than the Toyota Camry.
Okay. I can see how, this was, one of the things I'm thinking about even more is like, with certain campaigns, especially personalizer campaigns, comparison pages would seem to be really vital in when you're doing a geofencing conquest against an off-make competitor. You can kind of go after that territory there by showing, okay, yeah, you might be on a Toyota site, but here's why our vehicle is better than whichever Toyota you're doing. Set up a personalizer for that. Take them to the comparison page and give them the information and keep them on your page. So yeah, definitely a huge benefit in a bunch of different ways. Also, I'm also noticing, because like I do all these webinars, so I learn a lot. I learn, just getting to know everything. I can see that this is also really SEO rich,
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody is searching for, doing a search for a Toyota Camry, this page could possibly pop up as a Honda Civic to check it out. It's like, oh, wait a minute, let me, see what the Civic is all about. So yeah, so I mean, just going through it also looks like it's very, SEO rich and is going to help in searching, especially for comparable vehicles.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just to kind of touch on something back that we talked about before, linking to those model pages like James talked about last week, you can see here making sure that if they want to find more information about the Honda Civic, it's just a click away. And then
Okay.
obviously they can also go up here and they can, in the benefit of being these comparison pages and these, it doesn't even have to be comparison pages, the model pages itself. I'm kind of linking them both together. The information, just having the information on the website, look what's right up there. They can go to the nav and really dive in and go and continue pursuing their path to purchase.
Right, or see the other civic inventory, where you can also have more information in the VRPs.
Correct.
Right. Wow. Well, awesome. That was actually more than I anticipated. So that was great. It's like when you get a chance to kind of see how all these pieces and parts work together in our websites and how they really complement each other and keep traffic flowing to the site. It's pretty cool. So does anyone have any questions right now for Ryan while we have him here? Let's get those out there. Um, I know that there might be a question of, where do we find this content? Actually, that's a good question. I'll go ahead and ask that. So, where would one find this content? I mean, is it, do they get it from the OEMs? Do they kind of write it up themselves? Do they do Google searches? How do they come up with some of the content?
Yeah, that's a great question. So some of the content, with working with my content manager and the content team that we have here in the house, they go through a process of looking at the OEM sites, making sure, and also from information provided on the tier one level, and making sure that the information is correct. Obviously, the most important thing is that we're providing factual information, making sure that the information that we have on there is 100% true. And we can show that information, and then obviously we can pull it right from those sites and put it into our own words, and making sure that we get it and get some credit for it, especially like you said through the SEO purposes.
Okay, great. All right, cool. Looks like we have a question here. So, is there anything to be said about comparing your dealership against your local same brand competitor? So, what I'm taking that to mean that you have a Honda dealership here, but then there's a competitor Honda dealership. What is there a good way to kind of use comparison pages against yourself?
That's a great question. So, I mean, obviously, you're going to be having you're going to have similar inventory, not the same inventory, but you're going to have similar inventory, like having like Accords. If just for Honda dealership, just use it as an example. Accords, you're going to have the Civics, you're going to have the HRVs, etc. But the real challenge there is how are you going to then show why your product is superior versus the same type of information or same type of dealer just a few miles down the way. So what we have there is, how do we show that? And the way we do it, you can also compare internally. And you can compare one model internally versus another model. And then from there, what you're able to do is, you don't want, and obviously this is up to the dealers on their end, but directly, I wouldn't recommend saying, John Smith Honda is 10 times better than Joe Smith's Honda down the street. But what you can do is you can uniquely personalize the page around those people who are around, John Smith's dealership, and you're sitting over there a block away. You can, through personalizers, and you can touch on this too as well, you're going to be able to hit on that and show, less. You can hit more on, the attributes of comparing two models, like a Honda Civic versus a Honda Accord. But then when they come to that page, maybe we have a pop-up, a personalizer pop-up, or a graphic that will explain that, if you schedule a test drive today, you get a $25 gift card, or really make it easier for them to make that decision to come to you. And a great point that was brought up by Will as well is using testimonials. Definitely having your reviews. You can have, obviously you have the factual information up at the top, and you have, comparing the models up there, but having your reviews of your dealership below isn't a terrible idea either, because then what they're going to do is they're going to see all that information, and then they're going to have, some actual testimonials from real live customers to be able to help sway them that way too. And then even going a step beyond that is showing, and going back to I'll reference my old webinar.
Yeah, I wonder what we're going to take, because that's what I was thinking.
Having your unique selling point, having your unique selling proposition, your USP, that why buy on your page, that is going to be the big key in driving people from, the same type of dealership comparing, so that way you can show truly, why your model is better than that model, and also why your dealership is better than that dealership.
Right. So yeah, because immediately what I thought was, okay, so yeah, with both dealerships have, 2016 Honda, Honda Civics, they have, the same base. However, at dealership A, there's no haggle pricing. There's no haggle pricing, simple financing, easygoing staff. But, it's well known that, at dealership B, you're going to be haggling. They're going to keep going back to ask their manager, let me get back to you and ask my manager something, when they're really just getting a cup of coffee. And those are the kind of things that you can use to compare. So that's exactly what I was thinking. Was that, yeah, we can go back to your USPs. It doesn't necessarily have to be about vehicles. That's great for when you're doing, cross-make comparisons, but you can also do, comparisons against a competitor, just kind of highlighting your USPs. So I like that. Excellent. Thank you, Will.
Great question, Will.
All right. Do we have any more questions before I let Ryan go to go do his amazing account management? All right. Well, if you think of any, please feel free to. You can email Ryan, rkwasneski@launchdigitalmarketing.com. And you can also email me at dihowdoi@dealerinspire.com, and I will make sure to get any of those questions for you, any of those questions answered for you. So you can equip and start making those comparison pages. Also, if you decide if this is something that you'd like to pursue, then let us know. Shoot me an email, and we can kind of give you some more insight, give you something something to start with. You can either go through your AM or support to kind of get those pages started. You want to give one to kind of test it out. Track them in Google and Clicky, so you can get those metrics and really start seeing how they benefit. So it's a great idea. And as Ryan mentioned, also working in conjunction with the model pages. I mean, it's a win-win in my oh so humble point of view. Okay, well, thank you, Ryan. You are a wealth of information.